Hello, everyone. We're doing a
Hello.
new video here. My name is Lars Christian Haugen, here with Roshni Patel. Today, we're doing a video about an article that we read. Actually, Roshni, you saw it and you sent it to me, and it was about a company called Brewdog and its toxic work culture. And I thought that just to give an intro for people, because if people are watching this other places, like we're in the UK, they might not have heard about Brewdog, but it's a craft beer company that got started in Scotland, I think in 2007, and it's been growing quite quickly since then. And yeah, there was an article recently that came out where ex-employees of the company had sent this open letter to the CEO, basically saying that the culture is horrible, and kind of it became like a big thing. So we thought we wanted to discuss this in terms of culture, management. Would we still invest even though it's a good company? So that's kind of what we're talking about here. And as always, please like and subscribe and share the video and all that good stuff. So with the intro done, do you want to? Because what we've done here is like we've done our notes separately, so we don't actually know what we're each going to conclude. So do you want to start off with your stuff, with your notes, and then you can do some stuff, and then I can come in with my notes later.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I'll start off with mine, and of course, feel free to just pause me at any point, and we can just have a nice little debate there. So last week, one of the Brewdog co-founders received a message of complaint over Twitter from a group of around 60 former employees on its toxic culture. There's quite a lot of little claims going on there, but I'll give you just a little taste of what I personally found reading through this letter. Some examples are the business is built on a cult of personality. They've been exploiting publicity for like to further the business goals. So one example is apparently they have chartered flights. I'm not entirely sure what they contain, but chartered flights from like one country to the other, and they just had to fill it with staff just to justify their flights going ahead.
Yeah,
Um,
and
things
they
like
claim to be like a green company, which is why
yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
like an eco-friendly sort of, or along those lines. Things like benefits, staff were offered paternity leave, as a cool, trendy kind of perk, and when the time comes to take it, they're not allowed to. And there's quite a lot. There are a lot more claims within this letter if you go and have a look. But the main theme is that the management, they haven't seemed to be doing what they promised, and they've pursued growth to the detriment of its employees.
Mm,
And then as a result, again in this letter, you see things like staff had suffered mental illness.
yeah.
They've been pressured to work beyond their capacity. We've been there before, and that's just not nice.
Mm,
And it didn't matter what department it was happening in. This was a kind of general experience. So that's just the gist of the letter.
yeah.
Now, my first thoughts were, how does this impact the business as a whole? So, for us, the kind of way that we like to invest is more of a value lens, right? And one of the pillars of one of the pillars that we look at is the management. Now, um, management integrity is basically important.
Yeah.
And for me, I ideally want to see a business where the managers are straight talkers and they're honest. So for me, seeing this letter, it doesn't score too well in the management stakes. Like it's one thing to drive your efficiency within the team, but then if you're going to go back on any of your promises made and you're not keeping your staff happy, it is a bit of a flag. So I think for now, at least in the short term, that's going to have a bit of reputational damage.
Mm.
Um, and I guess just so I don't waffle on throughout this whole video, is there anything further you wanted to add to the management? And then the next bit I was going to have a look at was the financials. So maybe you can pick up on that bit as well.
I think, I mean, I've worked in a toxic culture myself, and I mean, I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's absolutely horrific. Like it really kind of destroys your life in a way. So it's absolutely horrible. So I definitely feel for these people. I know exactly what it is, and just feeling fearful or like afraid of being shouted at, or just like you can't speak up and things like that. And it's absolutely horrible. And anyway, just kind of as you said, going into the financials, this is something I want to get your opinion on. So I looked at the financials, and the financials are very good. Like the or at least for such a young company, the revenues are growing really fast. The margin stuff like that aren't incredible because it's a young company. But
Mm-hmm.
from if you had invested in the company early, it would have been a great investment. And I mean, we can probably throw up some numbers on the screen, but
Yeah.
um, and it's probably going to be a very good investment going forward. And I think sometimes in companies that are doing really well, there's probably a lot of stuff going on in the background that you're not seeing. This is not just happening at Brewdog. I'm sure this is happening at other companies that are growing fast. And I mean, you hear stories about how, Elon Musk can be difficult to work with and very demanding, and how Steve Jobs was very difficult to work with as well. And you kind of get these personalities who, because they're so driven, they get stuff done. So my kind of question to you is that, even though when the financials are so good, would that change your opinion? Like, this is a great company, you can make money in it as an investor, but you see that the CEO and the culture is horrible. Like, how do you view that?
I think I need to do a bit more work, if I'm honest. Just because I saw the revenues, and the revenues appear to be growing at a really, really good clip. But the operational profit and looking at the free cash flow, it didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw that in 2019 they didn't actually generate any free cash, unless I'm missing something here.
I didn't see the free cash, but I think I only saw numbers up to 2018.
Right.
But the profits were going a bit down. But I think that's because they're investing more kind of marketing and that sort of stuff.
Based on the growth alone, I do think it's a good company. And because I guess this is the first time, honestly, being as an investor, this is the first time where I've looked at a company and then something like this happens in the news. And for me, I think I would actually want to just let a bit of time pass and see, okay, how long before this reputational damage kind of like fades into the past before I decide, okay, then this is probably a serious company I might want to look to invest. But I think before this phone call, you've already mentioned that, like, that this is also a business, that businesses are caring about business growth. It's not always about, your feelings and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, this is interesting because, as we said, we haven't discussed this up front. So I didn't know. I actually thought you were going to say no. So I'm a bit surprised by your answer. I'm actually going to go the other way. Like, I would not invest. And I actually had to think about this because, on the one hand, I don't want to support companies that treat employees like that, because, as I said, I've been in that situation myself. I know how horrible it is. But then, putting on my investor hat, my view is going to be slightly different. But I think I still wouldn't invest, even though it's a great company, even though it's growing a lot, because I'm not saying that to sound like politically correct. I just think that, personally, I don't think I would want to support a company like that. I just don't like that kind of attitude. But secondly, as we said, as we've talked about, management's integrity is very important. And I don't know if I have the trust or the belief that they would steer the company in the right direction. You know what I mean? I think, as a leader, you have to have the people behind you. You have to kind of be inspiring. You have to make sure that people want to follow you. And maybe when the company matures a bit and the culture is just crap, then, as an investor, I feel that it can go both ways. Like, it can go further from here and be very good, or it can crumble. And I don't think I would want to put my money behind a CEO that I feel does not have integrity and is just willing to lie to get PR. I just think there are other companies where I feel that the management team have more integrity, where I would feel that my money is more safe.
So am I right to say then that your reason for not wanting to invest is purely because of the lack of integrity rather than how they're treating their staff?
There are other companies that probably, where their CEO has a strong personality, but they might still have integrity, or they might not, mistreat their employees. Like, there's a difference. But coming back to your question, where's the line? I don't know where the line is, actually. But for me, it just comes down to, I don't like that kind of behavior, and we have clear evidence of that kind of behavior here. And I don't know how to quantify this risk. So I'd rather not take the risk and find another company where I feel more comfortable about this management.
I'm glad you said that, because I think that's obviously the alternative, is like, you'd rather just find another business where you have sound management.
Exactly.
And even though there might be one or two, I'm thinking here that, maybe even I might want to switch, go a little bit more back to, rather than sitting in the middle, be more.
Flip-flopping.
Oh, get lost. You can't say anything. Okay, whatever.
So you're going back. You would not invest, then you're coming over to my side.
Yeah, because I'd say my I saw something. For my initial point was that, or my initial take was that I'd want to see how the reputational damage goes and go from there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I was a strict yes to begin with. But
That's fair
yeah,
enough. I think it's interesting to follow this story. Like, my money is that the CEO is not going to change, because I don't think people do change that easily. And seeing his reply, like, it was just like a
oh yeah, I'm
normal.
going to
Yeah, we made some mistakes, but there are also people who are happy. It's just like he was basically saying, I don't give a shit,
mm,
in his response, but just in a, in a kind of PR kind of way. So he's probably not going to change. But yeah, but it would be interesting to see what happens with the company. Personally, I don't think it's going to take too big of a dive, because when you go into if you go and get some beers from the store and you like Brewdog, you're still going to buy them. Or if
exactly,
you go to a bar, you're not going to go, oh no, we're not going to go here, we're going to go to the next one, because of their toxic culture. But my fear
exactly,
is
yeah,
just that, having been in a culture like that, there's you're not productive. And the focus is on the wrong place. People are stressed out, people are angry. You're not going to do your best work when you're like that. So they might be growing quickly right now, but then I'm afraid that the kind of that culture will damage them in the end. You can get so far, but then potentially it's going to be difficult to get to the next step. It's just like, that's that risk I'm a bit uncomfortable with.
I'd say this is a very interesting conversation, though. Sorry, my voice is going there. No, I think this was. I'm glad you had a nice little chat about this.
Yeah, I mean, great discussion. I think that was good. I hope people enjoy that. And yeah, do you want to sign us off? Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, if you have your views on this news as well, we'd love to hear. Actually,
Mm.
even if it's just to get a bit of a conversation going, please go ahead. Please remember to visit our website at www.hpvalueinvesting.com, and visit our eToro. Our website has more of our videos. We have a YouTube channel. Please go ahead and check it out. And until next time, bye bye.
Bye.